their first meeting as managers. It is Gerrard coming out on top, their first points and goals of the season. It could have been so different at the end, though. Some big chances for Everton, but there wasn't a final twist in that game. Let's get some immediate reaction. Danny Ings is with Des Kelly.
Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, hot and sweaty work there, wasn't it?
Oh my God, I can't hear a thing you're saying. The atmosphere is amazing. You're going to have to repeat that. I didn't hear what you're saying.
Start again, because it's flaming noisy here. Hot and sweaty work, but you got precious 3 points.
We did, yeah. It was difficult, and I mean, after last week's performance, you know, there were going to be edgy moments in the game. You know, Everton are a physical side, and they caused us a few problems. But you know, today that's how you stick it out. That's how you grind it out and win ugly at times. But you know, during the game, I thought we created a lot of good moments, and overall we deserved the win.
Heart in mouth in the last few moments there.
Yeah, of course, as I said, they're a physical team, and you know, they're getting the ball forward and put a lot of pressure on us. But credit to everyone at the back for digging in and staying strong. And you know, that's what this league's all about. You got to grind it out.
Lovely goal on the left foot. It looked like he'd lost it just for a moment, but you recovered.
Yeah, I mean, I was running full tilt when I cut it back, and you know, luckily I managed to get half a yard and yeah, put it in the net. So I'm really happy.
Very important to get a win here and improve the home record for this club.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, all of us wanted a reaction after last week. It simply wasn't good enough. You know, we knew that. You know, from start to finish, we didn't turn up. We didn't lay a glove on Bournemouth. So to be at home today and to get the win is huge, and hopefully we can build on that now.
Well done, Danny. Thank you.
Man, thank you very much. Thank you.
After a disappointing opening day defeat, there's been an immediate response from Aston Villa with that 2-1 victory. I think, though, after the way that game ended, is the overriding feeling here one of relief, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was by any means necessary. I think this place, you could feel the anxiety in the stadium when we came here. As soon as the game kicked off, any time there was a set piece, they got the goal, and it kind of they settled a little bit, and they looked the more comfortable team up until really Onana came on, and Rondon, they just started causing problems when they went more direct. But I think at this stage of the season, you just want to get points on the board, and Aston Villa have done that today.
Why couldn't we have had that for the full 90 minutes, Joe?
And it burst into life. I think it was very telling, the substitutions by Aston Villa. Obviously, Buendia got the goal, but I thought Stevie's squad is a lot more stronger than Frank's at the moment, and we saw that. Although Everton did come back into it, when they got Rondon on, they started to go long, a little bit more direct. Gordon got into the game, and it really lit up. In the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes is what we've become more accustomed to in the Premier League. Before that, it looked like two teams not quite at it, both of them, but Villa were the ones who got the points.
Did you think Villa deserved it overall?
I think they did for the 80 minutes that they dominated the game, but I completely agree. When Gordon was allowed to go out onto the left, when Demarai Gray went off and Rondon came on, and he's a natural wing player, and he's much more effective, both him individually, but him with his what he can do for the team. And having Rondon was that focal point that Everton missed throughout the whole game. It gave them that out option, you know, that long ball option to get up the pitch. So they were a completely different team. Overall, Villa probably did edge it.
And we did think the game was completely over when Buendia scored. He was excellent when he came on. How well worked was the goal? Yeah,
it was a really good goal. I mean, from an attacking perspective, it was fabulous. The way that he kind of manipulates the situation. You see here, the ball gets turned over. And it's what they do once the ball gets turned over. Onana, who came on, obviously loses the ball. But it's from here on now. What I love here, there's two parts to this goal. It's the run there from Watkins, which is a fabulous, unselfish run. He's trying to drag players with him. But it's also, watch the patience of Buendia, who draws the two defenders to him. Says, come to me. Just before he passes the ball there, you can get a funnel over the two centre-halves there. But he's done what he wanted. He's drawn them to him. He's made them come to the ball, almost. And what he wants to do then is he playing the ball wide to Watkins, but that's the space that I've highlighted there that Buendia wants. Watkins makes his run, gets himself out there, and all of a sudden we see it's a fantastic ball out there, great way to pass, and it's a fantastic finish.
He does excellent there. When he receives the ball, he uses his body, just cuts across him, them little details, so then he's the boss. And then when it's the 2-on-2, it's all about the weight of the pass. He could have easily overhit that and sent Watkins wide. It's a fantastic way to pass, and he really made the difference when he came on.
Do you know, we saw O'Neill in the first half in that exact position and get it wrong. With his pass, the weight of pass was wrong. We saw it here, the level of quality you're looking for in that position. And we was all screaming, McNeil, shoot, shoot, shoot. And if you don't shoot, get the pass right. But this pass here, you can't deny the quality of that pass. It's a hard pass to make, and he gets it right.
Pass of Watkins as well. I mean, he threads it between the gap between the goalkeeper. It's a really kind of small channel that he's got to pick it out. But the pace is perfect. But it's all set up by the first time ball and the pace of the ball from Buendia.
Yeah, 2 assists for Watkins today. Can he though play Buendia and Coutinho together? It's like he's got his own sort of Gerrard Lampard conundrum going on there.
I mean, there'll be certain games they can play and certainly stages of games. But what he's got the luxury with, Coutinho's an experienced player. He's at one stage of his career. Buendia's a little bit more hungry, a little bit more mobile. So they do offer you slight differences. But like today, when Coutinho went off with a little knock, then you've got Buendia to come on physicality. Can you flick it round the other way? But that's the strength of Stevie's squad. They've spent a lot of money at Aston Villa, and there is a lot of quality. I was particularly impressed with Ramsey and Kamara in the midfield as well. So there's legs. So having them two in there, maybe in some games will allow you to play the pair of them either side. Like, he's got options, Stevie.
I think what Stevie will be delighted with today, other than the result, is the fact that his substitutes had big impacts when they came on. I think in Buendia especially, huge money signing, on the bench, knows how to join. He could sulk, but he's remained engaged, comes on the pitch.
Does he deserve to start more?
No one has a divine right to start, but what you do need is you need a reaction. Mings as well. He knows he's out of joint. Armband gone. Comes in today. They get the victory. Not that it's down to him solely, but you need players to stay engaged. It's very difficult for coaching staff to keep players who have got big egos, big reputations, big price tags. If you're not going to play them, to keep them involved and keep them, their mindsets in tune with what you want to do. And today we saw positivity when those players came on.
And even like the 2 defensive subs that Steve Gerrard had to make right at the end, Konsa and Chambers, who came on. Chambers in the 96th minute, I think, made a goal-saving block. So he's getting a response, Stevie Gerrard, from his substitutes. They're coming on and they wanted to perform.
And what about Onana then? Did he make up for his mistake, Rachel, for that Everton goal?
Yeah, because you could see his intention. His intention to where the turnover came from was to turn up face forward. He does something about it. What is there, a couple of minutes between conceding that goal and then making something happen? And he gets down the byline there and cuts it through. You can see it's Dele Alli at the near post that's his target. Dele Alli doesn't make contact with it, but it stumbled home eventually at the back post. Luca Digne did his old team a bit of a favour there at the back post, but you could see that it changed the complete dynamic and it put Villa on the back foot, having Rondon and Onana up top.
OK, well, let's get some reaction then from the Villa boss, because Steven Gerrard is with Des.
Stephen, an important win, a deserved win despite that late flurry at the end.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we had large pockets of control. We could have scored minimum another couple of goals. I think I always expected when we conceded that poor goal that there was going to be a bit of nervousness. They were going to try and pile balls in our box, but that was a big test of our character and our resilience, and we managed to stay firm. It's not easy when you lose a central defender in that situation. People are cramping. You know, the conditions were tough for both sets of players, so we've done enough to get over the line, and I don't think anyone can point any fingers in terms of the outcome of the game. I thought we deserved our win.
And he started with 2 up front. That was a good tactical call, because both players, of course, scored the goal between them.
Yeah, well, listen, the players can take the credit for that. They've got to go out and carry a game plan out. You know, we knew we were going to play against 3 central defenders today, so we wanted to be aggressive, we wanted to be brave. We felt last week that Danny was a little bit isolated at times, and when we were putting crosses and quality into the box, he was getting suffocated and outnumbered. So having another body in there, give the back 3 something to think about. We had Phil arriving, young Emmys, little 1-2 for the final pass. You know, if there's any kids watching, that's pure quality. I know Joe Cole's in the box, but the way he slows the play down and he can still execute the quality under that pressure. It was a fantastic second goal, and eventually that gives the win.
It's important that he made an impact as well. And what happened to Coutinho? A slight injury there, didn't look too serious.
We're hoping it's cramp. You know, obviously I've mentioned the conditions before. It was a really tough game for both sets of players. Phil had to run hard and chase hard, and I think it just caught up with him in the end. But that was always the plan, is to bring Buendia's energy. He's really pushing to start at the moment. He had a little bit of a setback in pre-season, but he was certainly winning the race before that setback to be a starter, because he's showing real quality, he's showing energy and aggression, and doing both sides of the game extremely well.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Buendia pushing to start, Joel.
Yeah, well, again, and that goal that we highlighted will delight Stevie, because you put sessions on like that, and you buy these players like Coutinho and Buendia to make difference in their moments. And like he said, he slowed him down, picked the right pass, come in, and you have the luxury. Aston Villa's a huge club. They've got a fantastic squad, and Steve would be so delighted to get the 3 points today. He'd be sitting there, he'd be looking at the name of the quality: Coutinho, Ramsey, Kamara, Buendia. He's got a lot of players who can open up the door in that midfield. So he'll be delighted with his day's work.
Kamara impressed you today?
Yeah, I think there was a maturity about his game. Free transfer, recruitment, have to take credit for that as well. But to go in there today and he just backed up play the whole time, remained secure. He was a security for the team on the turnovers as well. But his passing was very, very good as well. And he looked like someone who's going to feed those attacking players. We're talking about the Coutinhos, the Ramseys, the Buendias, the Baileys when he comes in as well. So you need you've got all those attacking players with flair. You need the players sometimes who've got a bit of patience and add security to your team. And he seemed on this showing to be someone capable of doing that. He's got to do that over a consistent long period now.
But as a start, looks like he's going to take to the Premier League pretty well. He had a little smile there when Des asked him about starting the two forwards today. His team selection obviously paid off. But was that the main difference, that, you know, they had Watkins, Ings on the pitch, and Everton just don't have that out-and-out forward? Well,
they don't have any, do they, other than Rondon, who came on, and we've said that did make a massive difference. He wanted to change up his tactics because he was really disappointed, Stevie Gerrard, with his team's overall performance. He changed, at centre-half with Tyrone Mings and then put the two up front, and I think it was clearly the right thing to do. Whether it was presume it's a forced change with Coutinho going off and Buendia coming on, but he was a different problem for Everton to have to sort of deal with. Tom Davies, I thought, who came on, did pretty well up against Buendia. But before the end of the show, I've got to say, Emi Martinez was one of the reasons why Villa came out and ended up winning this game. He made a couple of massive saves towards the end, a couple of from corners as well, where Everton were looking like they could get something, just plucked them out of the air, took the pressure off his defence, and thought he was excellent.
They really should have got an equaliser, though, shouldn't they?
Tyrone Mings does well there as well, by the way, because Rondon's cleaning up and sweeping that in.
Yeah. That's today, Mings.
Yeah, that tackle alone gets you the 3 points at the end of the game.
Yeah, he grew into it. He grew into the game. I thought he was excellent. And Chambers is there making the block. Martinez, top drawer. Like I said, they only had to really... Everton only made Villa defend for 10 minutes, really. And there's enough positivity from Frank's perspective and for Everton, because Onana, for a young player to come in and make your debut and make a mistake, concede the goal, but then have the personality to then drive, get on the ball, then make something happen, and nearly salvage something for your team. That's enough. When the lads will be going back up the M6 back home tonight, there's a little spark in there for Everton fans to say, look, we might be all right, because there's enough quality.
I totally agree with Joe in terms of Onana. If you're going to take a positive out of the game, I think he will be it. A big money signing. It's just the character and personality. He was waving the fans on. It was quite quiet in his away end for periods. He came on and was going, go on, get up. You've got to get yourselves up. Get behind us. Give him the big arms to them. He makes the first goal for them, and he could have an impact like someone on that show in there. Just that you could say that Fellaini, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge ask because he was so impactful here and a great player for Everton. If he can be anything near that, they'd have invested very well.
And Roberto Martinez loves him as well. He says he's one of the most exciting young players in Europe right now.
That's great. And also for the other players on the bench who are sitting there possibly disappointed not to start. Dele Alli, for instance, you've got a young who was the star 2, 3, 4 years ago. You've got a young lad who's shown you there, come on to it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, aggressive, run forward. And then there's another, can Dele respond? Can he be that player? Can he come on and tap something in and then become another weapon for Frank to use? I mean, there's still positivity there for Everton.
And they're linked with a loan-to-buy move for Che Adams. Would that be sensible? Because they've got to get that forward in, Rachel, haven't they?
They're running out of time, aren't they? And they do absolutely need options. If Calvert-Lewin, you'd expect, yes, he might be back at some point. Well, he will be in the next couple of months, but his record with injury, expect him to be in every single game. Che Adams will come in, and from what you get from his personality, he would fit straight in. He seems to be a kind of a no-nonsense player that doesn't really carry too much baggage, and he's tried and tested in the Premier League. I think he'd be a perfect fit. But going back to midfield as well, I don't think Everton have been able to pin their hopes on Dele Alli, Alan, Gomez, Tom Davies. There's a number of them, and now with Doucouré potentially out, I think Onana could be sensational for them.
You could see there, though, the win percentage without Calvert-Lewin is pretty much halved for Everton. And the fact he had injury issues last season as well, it's surprising perhaps that's not addressed. We'll get the reaction now, though, from Frank Lampard, because he's just arrived with Des.
Frank almost made a comeback today. A barnstorming finish as well, but what did you make of the whole performance?
I thought we should have got a draw at the end of the game. 2 or 3 really good chances late on. When we were set defensively and organised, I didn't think they gave us huge problems. When we give the ball away, a couple of transitions, they scored 2 goals. So that's the reality of Premier League football. You can't make those mistakes and give the ball away when you're open. We got punished for that. As I say, at the end, the spirit was good, and you come away with a bad feeling that you didn't get a point out of it.
In the first half, were you finding it hard to break through with no genuine focal point, because it opened up after the first half?
Yeah, possibly, but you know, without a genuine focal point, the necessity is that the three players up there have to be really active and mobile and run behind and also be strong when they're receiving balls to feet. We're not the only team. It's very, very common now in the Premier League and everywhere that players play without absolute focal points. It's kind of been put on us a little bit, but at the same time, we were short up there in the first half. In the second half, we were much better, and you saw the threat straight away, and more active in our play. But yeah, of course, when you don't have that focal point, sometimes it can make you less of a threat, and it's something we're obviously looking at.
Was the loss of Decoria important?
Yeah, because in 2 games now we've used a sub and had an injury in the first half, and it's you can't call that. But when you have to make a sub and a bit of a change, then it can obviously affect the team, no matter who you're losing or bringing in. So, an important factor, not the factor, but an important factor.
Thanks very much, Frank.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, really missing at that. Yeah, really missing at that focal point, the big issue for them. They've got Forest, Brentford and Leeds next, though. Games they're going to see as winnable. Games
they would have seen on paper, yeah, but I think the big part of that interview that comes out for me is that a focal point. Yes, they need a presence up front. I think they've played 2 games now, started with smaller forwards, hasn't worked. I'm sure next game that'll be a big difference.
Thank you very much, Rio, for your company today. Rachel and Joe as well. That's all we've got time for from Villa Park. Aston Villa are out of the blocks, though.